Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Saturday. It's Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early. It's 3:30 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, let me ask you guys a question. If you wanted to become a professional football player, if you wanted to learn to play guitar, if you wanted to be an artist, say you're older, and you want to learn how to paint, would you ask, would you talk, if you wanted to be a football player, would you pay it, would you idolize, would you ask a guy who had never been on the field in his life? Would you like watch Keith Richards or Joe Perry if you want to learn guitar, or somebody that never picked up a guitar in their life? If you wanted to learn art, say you're older and you want to learn art, would you listen to a guy who's actually painted hundreds of paintings and sold them, or would you take the advice and follow somebody that never painted a thing in their lives? I want to talk about Nick Fuentes here, and I'm not trying to pick on him here. The thing, when I watched this video, there's going to be the link right down below. When I watch this, I actually feel sorry for him. But more than that, I realize, like I said, I feel like the reason I've survived like two decades of addiction and everything else I went through is to share my experiences with other people. I truly believe that's why I'm here. And I've got a lot of experience with relationships and intimacy and stuff like that. And I see there's, Nick Fuentes has hundreds of thousands, if not millions of young men following him, thinking, this guy is the best thing since sliced bread. And those are the people that I worry about. When I watch this video, the Oedipus complex comes to mind. The video is going to be right down below. I would love to make a video like his video part of my video, but copyright is nothing to screw around with on YouTube. It's a quick way to, if you don't get all the nuances right, it's a quick way to lose your channel when you infringe on copyright. So the link will be right down below. It's a short clip, and when I watch it, I honestly feel pity. I feel pity for Nick Fuentes. And for the people, the guys, the young men that idolize him, that listen to this nonsense. If you don't know, Nick Fuentes is a popular nationalist. I'll leave the color out. Right-wing, conservative, all the bad things. all the bad things in the right, that's what he is. And a lot of young men follow him. They call it the groper movement. Anyway, he's talking in his video. He's talking about what he wants in a wife, what he looks for a wife, and what he'll provide a wife in return. And I watched this video, and the first thing that came to mind is the Oedipus complex. But then there's going to be a link down below. I found an article that wasn't quite fitting. There's an article right down below that talks about when men become boys and wives become mothers. That link will be right down below. I think it sounds to me like Nick Fuentes, he's childlike. And why people would listen to him about a relationship, I have no idea. I see people, I think people are going down the wrong path, young men, to listen to this guy. All right, so he starts off this video, what he wants in a woman. And he talks about, he wants his breakfast. He wants his breakfast, and he wants a coffee after his breakfast, and he wants dinner, and he wants to make sure you have coffee and dessert too. Let me just tell you this quick. If you have coffee, dessert, dinner, breakfast, and all that when you get married, you are going to quickly put on about 10, 20 pounds every year you're married. That's just one really quick freebie there I'm going to give you. You got to watch. You can't eat like that. You can't eat like a king when you're married, especially if you sit behind a desk and make half-hour videos every day. All right, so then he goes on, and this is where it really struck me that it appears he's got some issues with maturity. And he seemed serious here. He says he wants pets, along with the wife. I guess he wants his wife to buy the pets or be okay with the pets. And he wants a shark and a dog and a monkey. If I sat here and said that, you think there's something wrong, that maybe I hit my head, that I regressed to being a 10-year-old boy. Seriously, I can't believe this guy goes on videos and says this stuff. He sounds like a 10-year-old boy. What woman would want this? And the guys that are watching this taking advice from this guy. All right, so then he goes on to say, and he wants a woman to provide him with He'll put some babies in you. That's the way he says it. He doesn't talk about intimacy and sex. That's one of the biggest things I learned in these two last relationships I had in my sobriety in the last 16 years, is making a woman feel good, being intimate one-on-one a lot. And not just for the purpose of making babies. Satisfying a woman, it's a two-way street. Believe me. A lot of women won't say it, but then they're going to look for that satisfaction somewhere else. You got to be the man. Being a man is satisfying a woman. And he doesn't even bring that up. He doesn't even mention that. He just says he'll put some babies. Again, it sounds like a 10-year-old boy. I feel sad. I feel pity for this guy and for the people that idolize him. He goes on to say, let's see, babies, food, laundry. Let me tell you a quick story. I dated a woman 5 or 10 times back when I was using. She was a little older than me. And I was getting ready, this last time I dated her, she slept over, and I was going to work. And as I left, she said, you want me to do your laundry? Now, I'd only dated her 5 or 10 times. I've been doing my own laundry for 30 years. I love being self-sufficient, making my own food. Any man that can't feed himself is not a man. Any man that can't cook, I'm ready to make my scrambled eggs already this morning. Any man that can't feed themselves you're not a man. That's not manly. It's being a little boy. Okay, so back to the story here. She asked if she wanted to do my laundry. And I said, no. We've only dated like 5 or 10 times. I don't want you to do my laundry. You don't need to do my laundry. And I get back home from work, and every stitch of clothing I own, my bathrobes, the bathrobe ties, the socks, the underwear, my winter clothes, my summer clothes were gone, all gone. She took them all. I told her, don't do my laundry, and she took every stitch of clothing I had. Swear to God, true story. When she came back to my house that evening, she started carrying the totes of laundry up the stairs. I didn't even let her in the house. I didn't know psychologically how stable she was. This is another thing you learn. You don't, because some women, when you're dealing with psychologically damaged people, they're unpredictable, and I could end up getting in trouble. So I didn't even let her in the house, and I just took my laundry from her and pushed it into the kitchen, and said, that's it, we're done. I don't want to ever see you again. To me, it was a psychological ploy. By taking every stitch of clothing I had, I would have to see her that night. She had control over me. And I just saw this as a huge red flag. So it's a nuanced thing. You got to have experience in relationships to spot this. A person, somebody at first, when I first told some guys this, she took all my laundry, she did it. So I broke up with her. Like, what are you, crazy? Go check it out. Daryl broke up. He ditched this woman, said he never wanted to see her again because she did his laundry. You believe that? And there's, like I said, I wasn't even going to let her in the house. I carefully got my clothing back and broke off, and I never saw her again. It's not always good. When you think you have control over somebody else, a lot of times they have control over you. This is stuff you learn as you get older. And people watching Nick Fuentes, these young guys, these millions of young guys watching this, it worries me and it concerns me. And when I look at Nick Fuentes, as he's talking in this video, he seems demure and coy, like he's putting his head down and shucks, kind of guy, like that. And he seems like a little boy. He says this. He says, he'll put a roof over your head in return, give you a green card, because he had to give a little racist shout out there. And he says this. He says, I'll protect you. And then he laughs. I'll protect you. Like that. Man, that right there told me he has no intention. That was, when somebody it's like somebody saying no, I didn't, or no, I'm sorry, no, I didn't do that, or when somebody shakes their head yes when they're saying no, or no when they say yes, I can't even do it kidding around. That's honesty for you. But when somebody like, I'll protect you, and then he laughs. If somebody broke in the house, he's going to be the first one running down the street. That's what that laugh tells me. He's going to leave the kids and the wife in the home, and he's just going to save his own butt. Watch that. That's one of the most psychologically telling parts. I'm no psychiatrist, but watch it. And the last part of this, he goes on to say how he is psychologically abusive. He can't help it. That's just how he is. And again, I get how this comes across. that he's going to keep the woman under his thumb and he's going to treat her how he wants to treat her. Let me give you a little helpful advice there. Back when I was using, I came across a lot of women that had been abused in their younger years by their fathers and by their previous boyfriends. And I never, ever, I treated women good. And I never, ever laid a finger on a woman in my life. And I thought, I'm going to be the knight in shining armor. She's going to love me. I'm going to treat her like, she's always wanted to be been treated. And, it's going to be pure love. And we're going to stay together forever because I'm going to treat her good. And she's going to see what being treated good is like. Never worked out, man. She always, those people that are damaged like that associate being treated bad with love. Right? So right there, you think, well, that's perfect because Nick's, he says he's this women, those particular women will love him. Another thing I discovered though is because they're dealing with these issues, they are not trustworthy. They're not loyal. Even when they come across people men that are giving them this kind of relationship, they don't stay with them. They're not. This is just what I found when people are damaged like that, they can't be loyal or trustworthy or give their loyalty to somebody they love, one-on-one relationship. So, Nick Fuentes talking about how, he's going to put his little woman in his house and put babies in her and protect her, and, his pet shark, man, I just see a little boy, and by his own admission, he's never even been intimate with a woman in his life. By 24 years old, I had my own house, and I was living with a woman for about a year. And I was working for an architect's office, designing the state police barracks in Connecticut at 22 years old. Nick Fuentes has a lot of growing up to do. Like I said, I'm not picking on him here. I feel sorry for him in this video. And anybody that idolizes him is really going down the wrong path. If you want to play football, talk to somebody that's played football before. Have a good Saturday.